And yes, it's the day 2 of setting boundaries in friendship challenge. I am excited. Are you? Are you excited to be on this journey with me? Because I don't know. I don't think so. Yes, because I am saying so because yesterday I waited for your comments and your questions in the comment section, and I noticed in the WhatsApp group, and I noticed nobody was forthcoming in the comments. So if you watched the video, doesn't mean you didn't get anything. Doesn't mean there was nothing you could comment on. Doesn't mean there were no questions you needed to ask. Even if it means highlighting the points that minister to you, yes, you can do that in the WhatsApp group. That's why we are here. Anyways, I hope you did the challenge for yesterday. Were you able to, detect the boundaries that you would love to set with your friends? Did you? State it in the comment section if you did. Anyway, without much ado, so that we can make it, I will try to really make this video short because I think many of you don't want to waste time watching video, but it's necessary that you watch to the end. Please remember, when you put on that video, watch it to the end. Your word might just be towards the end. Who knows? Okay, so today, our topic that we'll be looking at is identifying personal boundaries. Let me ask why? Because it is very important that you are able to identify those things that are your limits that you can bear before you can set the boundaries. If you do not know your limits, how will you be able to set your boundaries? And if you don't set your boundaries, you are doing yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself first for you to be able to take care of your relationships and your friendships, of every kind of friendship that you have. So, it is important that you identify your personal boundaries. It is important that you identify the limits to which you can cross and the limits to which people can cross over to you. And so we are going to look at why you should identify your boundaries. The first reason is for the purpose of self-care. Do you see how important it is for you to care for yourself first? Even God in His commandments to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Self-care. It emphasizes the importance of taking care of self. I know in this part of the world, we do this self-sacrificing thing. We sacrifice ourselves so much that we lose ourselves in the process. That is why a mother will sacrifice all that she's supposed to be to raise her children. And then tomorrow she starts screaming. They don't care about me. They don't do this. They don't do that. Self-care first. Nobody said you should be selfish. I did not say you should be selfish. But I said take care of yourself so that you can take care of other people, your friends, your family, your co-workers. So number one reason why you must identify your boundaries is for the purpose of taking care of yourself, so that you do not overwork yourself, so that you do not stress yourself beyond the limits that your body can carry. Another reason why you have to identify your boundaries is time management. We all have 24 hours. We all have 24 hours to do everything we want to do in a day. And if you don't manage that time, my dear, you will sit on one thing from morning till night. And then you wake up, get up from there and realize you didn't achieve anything in that day. Example is social media. Do you know that you have to set boundaries with social media use too? You must set boundaries with your social media use. Even as a full-grown adult, sometimes when I go to my phone, social media, I want to check up just one thing. And the next thing, I'm all over the place. You know, it's coming with a lot of reels and screaming screens and everything. Screens that are screaming, watch me, watch me, watch me. If you do not identify that, there is a problem with you sitting with the phone or laptop and scrolling from morning till night. If you do not identify that it is a boundary problem, you are bound to waste all the time of your day. So you have to be able to, when your friend calls you at a particular time, you have to be able to tell them that at this point in time, this is what I'm doing. So you should have been able to identify that boundary from the word go and also communicated to them so that you don't need to explain. Like I say, we come to explain tire. And let's just move to the next, the emotional and mental health. For the purpose of emotional and mental health, you must identify your boundaries. So, because if someone is bothering you with their emotional problem, remember you are taking it in. And because you love that friend, you will want to be of help. And when it is beyond your limits, your reach to help, what happens? It begins to weigh you down. So there are things you must not accept so that you can be emotionally and mentally sound. You have those people that come to ask you for money. They are bothering you with money requests. You have, there are parents that once they know what you are taking home, your take home, your salary, they want to cut 80% of that salary. I kid you not. They will want to cut 80% of that salary. After all, they sacrificed for you. They didn't set their boundaries, and it's time to come. They want to pressure you. So when they are pressuring you, emotional problems begin, and then that's when we start talking of depression. Hey, she's depressed. Hey, she's sad. Hey, she's mad. Or he's mad. And then this emotional problem skyrockets into mental issues because it's from there you start having depression. You start having anxiety. So you must create limits. You must create boundaries, whether for friends or for family. That's what it is. Remember, you have to love them as you love yourself. So the next one is, the next reason why you should identify your boundaries is that it increases respect and trust. When you identify your boundaries and set them, and then you're able to communicate same to your friends. And when you communicate that, you also ensure that that happens. Definitely, your friends will respect your boundaries. They will also learn to trust your decisions because they know that what you say is what stands. That doesn't negate the fact that boundaries can change. But let's not go there for now. So when you tell your friend that by 7 p.m. to 4 a.m., my phone calls, I don't take phone calls anymore. Ensure that you step and keep that boundary. Because if friend A calls you by that time and you pick, they will tell friend B. And what will happen? The respect will be reduced because you do not stand by what you say. And then we talk about clear communication. When you are able to identify your boundary, what happens? You will be able to clearly communicate these boundaries. Because it is one of the important things in friendships. Effective communication, very important in friendships or any relationship whatsoever. So when you're able to communicate, to identify your boundaries, you know that, oh, this bag shouldn't be here, that's my boundary, and these books, they don't need to be here, they need to be there. You can communicate it clearly to anybody that you are with. Communicate clearly to anybody you come in contact with. your friends, your family, everybody. And when you communicate clearly, they will understand. And they too will follow your boundary. And you know what? You know what clear communication of boundaries? They preserve your friendships. We are here because I'm here because I want you to preserve your friendship. I don't want your friendship to have issues because I know that you are also being made by your friendships. I'm here sitting talking to you today. It's because of the people that I decided to relate with. You know, there were people I could, be with, and I'm like, what goes? Anything goes. Life just happens. Life doesn't happen to the people that I meet. We make life happen. So when you identify your boundaries, you will definitely be able to make things work for you in your friendships. There will be less conflict and less misunderstanding. So the friendship will bloom in the absence of unnecessary conflict and misunderstanding. This relationship will bloom. But for it to happen, you must identify your boundaries and be able to communicate it clearly. Another reason is that it improves your assertiveness. Actually, for you to survive in this world, you have to be assertive. Yeah, yes. You have to be able to speak up when it's time to speak up. You have to be able to express yourself in any gathering that you find yourself. So, identifying your boundaries will be able to help you become more assertive, because when you do not identify your boundaries, remember, you can't tell anybody anything. Can you tell anybody anything? Like, no, that cup, don't place it there. No, please. Okay, my time and here I can pick up. Can you do that? You can't, because you do not even know what your boundaries are. So you should be able to communicate. You should be able to identify your boundaries for the sake of being able to state them clearly. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. It increases self-awareness. Of course, you are getting to know yourself by being able to know what triggers you and what doesn't. Being able to know what you can take and what doesn't. Being able to know the extent you can go and the extent to which you cannot pass. You become more self-aware. And you know what self-awareness does? It increases your self-confidence. When you are aware of who you are, what you want, what you like, how you want your things to be, you become more self-confident. Your self-esteem improves. And what happens? It increases your self. Because when you are able to accept boundaries, you have been able to being by being self-aware, understand your boundaries, identify your boundaries, you have more self-worth. Nkechi cannot just wake up in the morning and decide that she's going to take your time the whole of the day without letting you know beforehand and without you checking for yourself that you have such time. That's self-worth. And Amanda knows that she just can't wake up one morning and start expecting you to, do certain things. It increases your self-worth. I think I had a friend sometime who will not wait for you to chit-chat with anybody. I mean, if you both walking on the street and then you see a friend you want to chat with, another friend you want to chat with, this friend will keep going. Like she won't wait for you. No, ordinarily you will wait. She's managing her time, so she keeps moving. Self-worth. She knows her self-worth. Her self-worth is high. So she knows that when you're done, you come and meet me. And if you can't, you won't come and meet me. Oh, it's okay. You can now take a bite and get home. So being able to identify your boundaries does a lot of positive things to you and your friendships. We're going to move on to types of boundaries. I know yesterday we did a little of it. So we talked about some boundaries. Today I will still remind you of the types of boundaries. Because for you to be able to identify your boundaries, you need to know which type. You need to understand the type whenever you set them. So I'm just going to do something like a small summary of the types of boundaries. So we recall physical boundary. Physical boundary, what is it? The extent to which someone can come so close to you. That is what physical boundary is. So the extent to which someone can come too close to your personal space and body. In terms of touch, hugs, pegs, touching your head and any part of your body. You know, there are people that just come and they are patting you on your back. Like, they don't just, I don't know, they just meet you and the next thing they are patting you on your body. Why do you do that? Do you get? It's not okay. So you should be able to say, no, you don't touch me anyhow. You don't. You know, emotional boundaries, they involve your feelings and the expressions of your feelings. It is okay to put boundaries on situations that drain you emotionally. It's okay to also put boundary on how much personal information of the other person that you can take. It's not all their personal information you should take just because you are their friend. Oh, something happened in their family, she's coming to tell you. If something happened there at school, she's coming to with another friend. So you do not have to take up that because it will emotionally drain you if it exceeds your limit. So time boundaries, you manage your time and how you allow others to encroach on it. So you have work hours, you have rest, personal time, you have time you use to play, you have to you create boundaries around your time. That helps you manage your time properly. And then you have social boundaries. There are people that don't like large social gatherings. There are people that don't like when they go to a social gathering, you're all, coming around along that. There are people that just love their private space. There are people that when they want to do a wedding today, it's 15 invitees. And there are others that when they want to do a wedding today, the whole village can come. Those are personal boundaries. You don't need to hate them for it. You don't need to dislike them for it. Accept that it is their boundaries and move on with managing your friendship with them. And sexual boundaries, yes. Sexual boundaries. They're young person. You love this guy. Yes, so you like him. You want to be his girlfriend and then hey, he comes. I like you, I love you, I want you to be my girlfriend and you're hey. And then what happens? Tomorrow he wants to touch your body. Next tomorrow he wants to kiss your lips. The other day he wants, and you don't want it to. So those are the things. You set those boundaries. Even before, oh, I want to be your, yes, I would love to be your girlfriend. I just want us to have a relationship. What do? You set the boundaries. You can't go beyond this limit. You can't go beyond this limit. Sexual boundaries, you don't stop with them. And once they go beyond that limit, you know what to do. We'll talk about it as we move on in this challenge. And then we look at financial boundaries. A deep topic that people don't talk about. First children. First Ada or Para. Some families will so want to suppress you that with all your financial whatever, with all your need, with all your money, you won't be able to rise above where you are financially. Because all their financial burden is pressed on you. I'm saying this is a fact. I've been there and I know it like I know my fingertips. You see that burden, that financial boundary, you must set it from the inception of the word go. Oh, you got a job and you told everybody you got a job and then your friends start billing you. Family starts billing you and you're giving you. Let me tell you a story. What am I even saying? I have a story to tell. Not about myself, but about somebody that I knew. This guy was in money. He has so much money. He makes money. He didn't just come by money. But I noticed he was always dulling out. You come to him, you complain, he's giving you 300K. He comes to buy something from you, he's giving you extra 5,000. Like, how do you do that? But do you know that today, everybody that was collecting and sharing from you is nowhere to be found around. And do you know that? Ego aware. For those who don't understand, the money has finished. Because he was taking on every other person's financial burden. And because of that, he became reckless with his spending. And then, so if you don't set boundaries, in fact, you get from rich to poor if time is not taken. You must set your boundaries on all these aspects of your life. And then we move on to the next topic, how to identify your personal boundaries. You know, we said why you should identify your boundaries. We talked about the types of boundaries that you should identify. Now you need to know how. How should you identify these boundaries? Because without knowing how, we have not said anything. We've just reminded you of some things. Identifying your personal boundaries requires that you sit in with yourself. Remember, I mentioned that you have to improve your self-awareness. You need to be self-aware to be able to identify. Being self-aware implies that you need to sit in with yourself and reflect. Reflect on every aspect of your life. Where and what. The most important is your values. What are your values? Put them down. What are your values? Because they will determine the boundaries. Put down your values. Write it down. Do you value integrity? Do you value breathing? Share is also a value. Do you value discipline? Do you value hard work? If you're hardworking and you have a lazy person coming around to want to take your time, will you allow that person to identify your values? Write them down. I hope you have your pen and your book, like I said yesterday. For every learning, you should hold a pen and a book. There must be something that will impact you, that will minister to you, that will touch you. There will be that aha moment for you. Put everything down. And like this, and I say, put this down. Put it down. Tune into your emotions per time. Okay, you went out. Someone broke a plate beside you. What happened? You went out with a friend. They said something about somebody and you didn't like it. How did you feel? Put down all those feelings. How you feel better. The outing. Every time you spend in your friendship, how did you feel for everything that was done there? At some point, were you angry for some things that were done? For me, you can't be where I am and you're mocking people. I mean, I know people who mock people that are disabled. I've seen people who mock someone for not being so, rich. I mean, mock. You don't mock people around you. When you do that, it upsets you. So I identify that is the limit, a boundary that I must reach. So when you want to, you already know that where UT is, I don't mock people. In fact, I have friends now who don't dress anyhow to where I am. I had one who said, I saw her when we went to pick up our children, and then I said, hey, I did that. She said, I didn't want you to see me because I don't know, this dressing now. Is it okay? I didn't know. And I laughed. So because she has been able to understand that that kind of dressing is not okay for me. So you tune into your emotions per time. Assess your limitations. There are things that you really cannot do. What are the limits? What are your limits in terms of energy, time, and emotions? What are your limits? Check it. Are there people who, when you spend time with, they make you feel like they have drained your energy? They make you feel like they have lowered your morale. That's draining your energy. Your morale becomes low even if it was high before you met them. So are there activities that when you participate in, it becomes too much? Are there things that happen and then you get very anxious? You need to assess your limitations. We're talking about how to identify your boundaries. Let's start small. When you have been able to, identify your values, tune in with your emotions, and you are able to assess what you can take and what you cannot take and what weighs you down. What else to do is you start small. Don't pack 20 boundaries and keep friendships. Start with 1 or 2. Start small and then progress towards increasing. Remember I said that even social media needs boundaries. I don't know your friends, social media people you watch. They are your friends now. So it's still boundaries in friendship. That's what we are talking about. Facebook friends, Twitter friends, TikTok followers, they are all your friends. So you start small. Like I said, I hope you have written these things down. Write them down. Everything you identify, write it down. And then after you have identified your boundaries, you will have to communicate it, right? Even though we'll delve into communication, I think for the next class, we should delve into communication more. But for now, we will still talk about how to communicate it, because in setting boundaries, in knowing your boundaries, communication is key. In fact, in every friendship, communication is key. Do you get me? Communication is key. If you're unable to communicate it, then it was pointless identifying it. It was pointless knowing it. It was pointless understanding it. So when you are communicating your boundaries, be clear, be direct, and be specific. No, yen, yen, yen. I want to come to your house. Can I come to your house? I'm busy. What is I'm busy? What are you busy with? State it. So instead of saying I'm busy, you can say, I am reading for my exams now. I can't take calls at the moment. I will call you back when I'm done. So your friend will understand that at this point in time, they have to let you be. Because you were what? Clear, you were direct, and you were specific. You are reading a book. You are reading a book and you will call back later. Explain your boundaries. You must explain them. But don't over-explain. I remember I was an over-explainer. Hey, if I tell you no, I must try to explain to the end. Explain your boundaries. Yeah, that's okay. So explaining your boundaries can help others understand and respect them. So in explaining, an example of how to explain your boundaries, okay? Because it's my exams period and I need to focus. You can only come around from 6 p.m. and leave by 8 p.m. How do you see that? You've explained. And sure, they'll understand. Be calm and respectful. You see those of us that explain our boundaries when we are very angry with our friend. I don't know why you came. Why did you come? You should. Why? Oh, you shouldn't have come at this time. I forgot to tell you. I am sorry that we can't do this now. Do you get me? That is what you do. You be respectful. When you are calm and respectful, they will definitely respond in the same manner. They will respond in a calm and respectful way. So no rooster will be brought down. So don't wait until you are emotionally excited before you communicate your boundaries. Use the I statement. Yes. State your boundaries in terms of your feelings and needs, rather than blaming or accusing. You shouldn't have come today. Why did you come? I forgot to tell you. I gave it between this time and this time. Maybe next time, please. You understand? Not you. So when you're talking about your boundaries, use the I statement. I need to reach at this time of the day. And I wouldn't want you to call me within that period. So when I'm done, you can give me just one call and stop. Don't call me too much. When I'm done, I will call you back. So you see, respect is increased. Everywhere is calm. And what do you think will happen? Your friend will react likewise. Be assertive. Another way how to communicate is to be assertive. Speak up. Don't hesitate to speak up for yourselves. Don't hesitate to tell them what you want and what you don't want. But at the same time, when a friend crosses the boundary, speak up. Say it the way it is, that you've crossed my boundary. I'm not happy about this. So remember, your boundaries are valid. What did I say? Remember that your boundaries are valid. If you are a person without boundary, you are a public compound. You know public compound, you enter as you like. Anybody can enter. Any dog can walk in. Any cat can meow inside. Is that what you want? No. In fact, if that is what you've been doing, I cancel it today. It will not happen again. People will not take advantage of you because you are unable to identify your boundary, set your boundary, and communicate it. So I hope you have been able to get something. We're wrapping up now. What did you learn? Did you learn why you should identify your boundaries? Did you get that? Did you understand better the types of boundaries we have and how to identify your boundaries? Remember, sitting with yourself, communicating your boundaries, and finally, we are going to have our next challenge. Oh, this challenge. Yes, it's a challenge, so you have to also do the challenge. Okay, today's challenge. Take a moment to identify two boundaries again. Two boundaries. Take a moment to identify two personal boundaries. Now I'm going to give you the very ones I want you to identify. One emotional boundary and one financial boundary that you hold. Write it down. Always write down. And think about how you communicate it clearly. So when you write these boundaries down, give me the I statement of how you communicate it clearly. You can share it in our group, WhatsApp group. You can't share it in the WhatsApp group. Don't hesitate to share. We are here as a community. This WhatsApp group is actually a community. Yes. And we are supposed to build ourselves together and grow together. That's why we are in this together. So remember to take up that challenge. Because I did see your comments and I did see your comments yesterday and your questions. I actually did not put in our challenge for yesterday. But maybe I will put that in today and also put in a challenge for today. Please communicate. Please speak up. You're not there to look. And also, please ensure that you watch the videos. Until I see you again tomorrow, do what you're supposed to do to make sure that your boundaries are set. Thank you so much for joining me. And do have a great day.